Hello, welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended. Are you wondering what awesome mods you can install for the new Extinction map? Well, you've come to the right place. Here is 10 mods that will spice up your Extinction playthrough. All mods are free and can be played cross-platform, so without further ado, let's go straight into it. Kicking things off, we'll start with the basics, with the Sanctuary Cryo crafting mod from Chefsky 55555, which will allow you to craft cryopods and cryofridges from all city terminals, which can be very useful as you will not have to traverse across the entire map just to find a boss terminal, which we all know can be quite challenging to get to. The Corrupted Wyvern Fix from Farcomnet is a mod I wasn't initially going to add to this list. However, I have had a lot of people commenting on my videos saying that the Corrupted Wyvern's fire breath is still burning their character when mounted on a creature, which from my experience was patched for official and unofficial servers. However, it does appear that this bug was not fixed for people playing single player, which is a massive shame. So of course, I had to test it out for myself. And well, yes, I did get burnt to a crisp while riding my Karka. I really don't get why a patch would only affect servers and not single player, but hey, here we have a fix thanks to Farcom. You won't be getting turned into crispy chicken skin anymore when taking on the Corrupted Fire Wyvern in single player. Moving on to another simple but useful mod, we have the Enforcer Saddle from Family PvE. The Enforcer in my book is a very useful creature for many reasons, and although it can dish out a whopping 4 times damage to corrupted creatures, it does also take a lot of damage from them too, due to the lack of saddle armor. Well, this mod fixes that issue, where you can now craft the Enforcer Saddle unlocked at level 20 and craft it from your own inventory, requiring a little bit of crystal, metal ingot, and element shards to craft. The saddle will offer your Enforcer the standard 25 armor rating. Sadly, there is currently no way to get higher quality saddles unless spawning them in, but a primitive saddle will go a long way in making our Enforcers a slight bit tankier. The Better Horde mode mod from Ferodra is the next mod we have on the list. Apologies for butchering the name, by the way. This is a much needed mod for Extinction in my opinion. Have you ever been in that position when running an OSD or element vein and the hostile counter is stuck at 5, 3 or even 1 hostiles left? Well, I know I have many a time. Sadly, I was expecting ASA to fix these underlying issues from ASE, but sadly that was not the case. Luckily, this mod adds some much needed quality of life features when running these Horde style defenses and massively improves the experience for us. Firstly, it will add a mini-map radar at the top left of your screen, where you can see every enemy as a red dot, giving you a good idea of where every hostile is and how many are attacking from each direction. And if that wasn't cool enough, after a specific amount of time, the default being 60 seconds, all hostiles will be marked with a bright beacon. The color does depend on which OSD you are defending. For example, if running a blue OSD, the beacon will show up as blue, yellow beacon for a yellow OSD, and so on and so forth. This clearly reveals each target's position and makes life much easier for us. It makes these Horde defenses so much more enjoyable. Have you ever wondered why the defense unit was the only mechanical being that wasn't craftable? Well, with the defense BPS mod from Trickster, crafting yourself your very own tamed defense unit now becomes a reality. This works the exact same way as the Enforcer, where you'll need to kill wild ones for them to drop a blueprint for you, and of course the higher level of defense unit killed, then the higher quality of blueprint dropped. Once you have yourself a blueprint, you can either craft it from a city terminal or a tech replicator. For me, it's probably not the most satisfying creature to use, well, if we can call it that, but it can sure be a welcomed addition for many other players. Once crafted, you can ride them, of course, roll around like a roll rat when holding the sprint key. You'll be getting from A to B in no time at all. A primary slash attack that deals average damage at best. When pressing the crouch key, it will perform a stun attack that will stun targets for 5 seconds within a 9x9 foundation range. And when pressing the alternate attack, it can summon up to what I believe is 4 attack drones. These drones will follow you around and attack anything that you attack or anything that attacks you. And we all know how annoying these things can be. I know I used to hate these drones during the Overseer boss fight and also the Master Controller from Genesis. Well, if you own a bunch of these defense units, you will have a fleet of air support at your disposal, and they do actually pack quite a punch. It's kind of ridiculous, but this is ARK after all. Am I really surprised? Either way, there's definitely a lot of fun to be had with this mod. If you love the Managarmr, then the Managarmr Jump Unnerf mod from Mafias RP11 is a much needed mod. This mod adds a costume that you can don your Managarmrs, which will give them the ability to jump as many times as it wants when airborne. This costume can be unlocked at level 10, requiring 5 engram points to unlock with a few interesting crafting requirements. All easily accessible, of course. Once crafted and accessing your Managarmr, go to your cosmetics tab and navigate to item cosmetics on the right of the inventory, and you can click and drag your costume onto the costume slot for your Managarmr. Now watch the magic happen. You will now not be restrained to only 3 jumps while airborne. A very simple but very effective mod if I do say so myself. Okie dokie, so this is a mod that isn't exactly Extinction targeted. However, I do believe it meshes quite well with Extinction, especially if basing up in the Sanctuary. This is the Aero Deck mod from Quell Quest, which adds 3 different variants of floating platform to your game, all unlocked at different levels. Level 25 for the small deck, level 35 for the medium deck, and level 45 for the large deck, requiring no engram points to unlock and requires a hefty amount of resources to craft each, which isn't too bad considering Extinction is one of the better maps for easily gathering resources. I did not see the option to craft these from a smithy, so it does look like they are only crafted inside the player's inventory, which is a little frustrating as the resources will clearly not fit within a player's weight capacity. What I had to do was have all the resources inside any type of storage container, throw everything onto the ground, pick it all up to over encumber myself, and craft the Aero Deck that way. I am a vanilla player after all, so forgive me if I am missing something here, but if you play with pulling mods or something, then maybe this might not be an issue. They work a bit like cliff platforms, but of course are floating platforms instead. You can place them anywhere you like, they can snap to one another, and they do also come in 2 different variants, which you can access when holding the access key on the deck itself. The second variant is beautiful, I must say. It does seem like you can place almost any structure on top of them without needing a foundation, so that's always going to be a very nice touch. I personally would be too scared to build my main base on one of these things, just because I don't trust building my base on top of a modded floating platform. Maybe I just need to man up. Either way, I love these platforms, and I can imagine you could do a lot of awesome things with them. Now who's up for building a floating sky base? Up next, we have the No Full Damage Gasbags mod from Trickster, a very simple mod that really doesn't require a lot of explaining. The Gasbags is probably one of the most fun creatures to use in the game, or at least it is for me. What isn't fun is having to dismount every time you run out of air and crash land to the ground, which if you didn't do will no doubt end badly for your Gasbags, as it takes maximum full damage, which is never usually an issue for me as I play solo or on a quiet server, where there isn't much lag at all. However, this may not be the case for players playing a busy server. This mod gives us free reign to use the Gasbags without having to worry about taking full damage at all. It does state in the mod description that if owning any Gasbags previously to installing the mod, then you'll need to cryo them and throw them back out again for them to be affected. It is also advised to perform a dino wipe. Moving back to a quality of life mod for orbital supply drops and element veins, we have the Wave Finder mod from Keffel Pack. Similar to the better Horde mode from earlier in the video, this mod will give any corrupted creature spawned specifically for the wave to emit purple rings, if not being killed after 60 seconds, which will assist players in identifying which creatures are part of the wave and finding any that may be hidden in terrain. Once the wave has reached below 10 dinos remaining, a corrupted creature will be automatically deleted from the wave if it has been spawned in for longer than 2 minutes, or if it has failed to cover at least 30% of the distance between its spawn point and the target OSD or node. So this mod has you covered for those times that you're waiting around for what feels like 10 days for the last few targets of a wave to appear. So take your pick of which quality of life mod that you prefer. Both are very good in my opinion. The Gacha Reroll Potions mod from Trickster is a good one for all those gacha lovers. Personally not one of my favorites, or one that I would use myself, as I quite enjoy the grind of taming many gachas in hopes to find the ones with the resources I need. However, the mod is still a great mod and will no doubt be useful for many players. The mod will add 2 new recipes to your game, which you can craft via a cooking pot or industrial cooker. The Gacha Reroll Potion, which requires a good amount of interesting resources for crafting, and also the Gacha Happy Cake, which also requires some interesting crafting items. Once crafted, they do have a relatively quick spoil timer, but can be massively increased when placed in a refrigerator. So if you aren't happy with the resource production options on your gacha, then you can use this potion to re-roll them, simply by placing it inside the gacha's inventory and force feeding it to it. And voila! A nice new selection of resources to choose from. Be sure to have food inside the gacha's inventory, just in case it decides to chow down on the potion itself, which of course will not work to re-roll the items. This can be used on the gacha every 15 minutes. If for some reason your gacha is sad, maybe it is inside a cave, or it has too many gachas around it, or it's just a plain and simple sausage fest. The Gacha Happy Cake, once force fed to the gacha, will make it happy for 60 minutes, where it will do everything a happy gacha will do for the duration. And that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, goodbye.